Right now, I need you to stop whatever you're doing and listen. I need you to feel this deep in your chest, because what I'm about to tell you will either wake you up or leave you right where you are. Average, comfortable, and unnoticed. You have dreams, ambitions, and potential that no one else can touch. But here's the truth. Most people never reach it. Most people never break free. Why? Because they settle. They accept mediocrity. They tell themselves, I'll start tomorrow, while tomorrow disappears into yesterday, and before they know it, years have gone by and nothing has changed. But you right now have a choice. You can remain one of them, or you can take control of the rest of your life starting at this very second. I need you to understand something. Your comfort is your prison. The things that feel safe, the routines that feel easy, the excuses that feel convenient, these are the chains holding you back from the life you were meant to live. You were not born to be average. You were not made to blend into the background, to accept less than what you deserve, to watch others take what could have been yours. The world does not care about your excuses. It does not care about your fears. It does not wait for you to feel ready. Life moves forward, and those who take action now, those who refuse to settle, are the ones who claim it. So I ask you, will you sit there and watch, or will you rise? This speech, this moment is your wake-up call. I am not here to make you feel comfortable. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I am here to ignite something inside you that has been sleeping for too long. I am here to remind you that greatness is not given. It is earned. It is fought for. It is claimed by those who refuse excuses, those who run into discomfort, those who are willing to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. You have everything you need inside you already. What you lack is the decision to act, the courage to push beyond fear, the relentless hunger to refuse average, and the discipline to see it through no matter what. For the next few minutes, I want you to open your mind and your heart to one undeniable truth. Your life is not happening to you. It is happening for you. If only you have the courage to grab it every second you waste. Every hesitation, every excuse is a second stolen from your potential. The person you are today is not who you have to be tomorrow. You can be stronger. You can be faster. You can be smarter. You can go further. You can go beyond. But you must decide right here, right now, that average is no longer acceptable. That your future, your destiny, and your greatness demand more than comfort, more than convenience, more than delay. So lean in, focus, and let every word you hear hit you like a shockwave. Because by the end of this speech, you will either be the same person you were when you started, or you will be someone awakened, someone charged, someone ready to go beyond, refuse average, and take what life has been waiting to give you all along. The choice is yours, but the time is now. Average is not something that just happens to you. It is not a stamp that life puts on your forehead and forces you to carry forever. Average is a choice, a decision made every single day, often without even realizing it. Most people live their lives on autopilot, moving through routines that keep them comfortable, moving through cycles of work, rest, distraction, and entertainment that never challenge them, never push them, and never force them to rise above. They accept mediocrity as if it were their birthright, believing that this is the best they can be, that this is the ceiling of their potential, that the limits imposed by circumstance, fear, or self-doubt are unbreakable. But here is the truth. Those limits are illusions, created by the mind, reinforced by habit, and accepted by choice. You have the power to shatter them, but it begins with a decision, a conscious refusal to accept average. To refuse average means first understanding what average really is. Average is settling for what is easy. Average is taking the path of least resistance. Average is comparing yourself to others and telling yourself that because they have reached a certain level of mediocrity, that is as far as you can go. Average is saying, I can't do more before you even try. It is listening to the whispers of fear and doubt instead of the roar of your potential. It is staying in a job that drains your soul, in relationships that suffocate your growth, in environments that make you comfortable but leave you stagnant. Average is a slow, quiet death of dreams. And most people never realize they are dying this way because it doesn't feel like failure in the moment. It feels safe. The decision to go beyond average is radical. It requires a complete mental shift. It requires looking at your life and asking yourself brutally honest questions. Am I giving more than I'm capable of? Am I pushing past my excuses, my limitations, my comfort zones? Am I living a life that excites me, or am I merely surviving? Most people avoid these questions because the answers are uncomfortable. Because to confront your mediocrity is to see yourself as you truly are, stripped of the stories, the excuses, and the masks. But if you want to rise above average, you must be willing to look at yourself clearly, to see the truth of where you are, and to refuse to stay there. Refusing to be average is not about comparing yourself to the world. It's about comparing yourself to your potential. It's about refusing to accept a life that falls short of what you were meant to be. Every day you live, every choice you make, every action you take or fail to take is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. If you choose comfort over growth, you are voting for average. If you choose fear over courage, you are voting for mediocrity. But if you choose to push, to grind, to stretch yourself beyond what seems possible, you are voting for greatness. That is the power of choice. It is not external forces that determine your average. It is you. Many people think they are victims of circumstance, that life has dealt them a hand they cannot overcome. They look at their background, their finances, their education, their family, their setbacks, and they say, this is why I can't be more. But let me tell you this, average is not defined by circumstances, it is defined by response. Two people can face the same challenges and yet live vastly different lives. One will use those obstacles as excuses, while the other will use them as fuel. Average is the voice that says, I can't because of what I don't have. Going beyond is the voice that says, I will because of what I can create. You are not a product of your circumstances. You are a product of your choices. And every choice to remain stagnant is a choice to remain average. Going beyond average is uncomfortable because it requires rejecting the norms that society sets for you. Society will tell you what is enough, what is acceptable, what is realistic. Society will tell you to settle for stability over ambition, safety over risk, comfort over greatness. But if you listen to society without question, you will never escape average. To go beyond, you must step off the well-trodden path, break rules, defy expectations, and risk failure. And yes, failure will come. It will come often and it will come hard. But average people let failure stop them, while those who refuse to be average use failure as a stepping stone. Every mistake, every rejection, every setback becomes a lesson, a tool, a weapon to push harder, reach higher, and refuse to remain ordinary. Refusing to be average also means rejecting the easy excuses that the mind throws at you every day. You will hear the voice that says, I don't have time. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right moment. That voice is the enemy of your potential. Average people listen to it. Those who go beyond crush it underfoot. They create time when there is none. They push through fatigue. They act today because tomorrow is uncertain. They understand that action, consistency, and persistence are the only ways to escape average. Greatness is not built on talent alone. It is built on daily choices that compound over time, and refusing average is the foundation of every choice you make. Finally, refusing to be average is a B, out owning your life completely. It is about taking responsibility for every outcome, every success, every failure. Average people blame luck, others, or circumstance. Those who go beyond take full accountability. They know that if they are unhappy, unfulfilled, or unsuccessful, it is not because the world is against them, but because they have not yet done what is necessary to rise above. That level of ownership is terrifying for many because it requires courage, self-discipline, and relentless effort. But it is also liberating because once you accept it, you realize that no one can hold you back but yourself. Your greatness is in your hands. Average is comfortable. Average is easy. Average is safe. But safe will never make you remarkable. Comfortable will never make you legendary. Easy will never make you unstoppable. To refuse average is to embrace struggle, to seek discomfort, to demand more from yourself than anyone else expects. It is a daily war against the voice of mediocrity that lives in your mind, that whispers excuses, that tempts you to quit, that begs you to settle. To win this war, you must commit yourself fully, unrelentingly, and without compromise. You must decide every morning to rise above, to go beyond, to refuse the ordinary, and to chase the extraordinary with every ounce of energy, focus, and willpower you have. Remember this, average is a choice, and you get to choose. Mediocrity is optional. Greatness is optional. But the difference between them is whether you have the courage to refuse average. It is not determined by luck, circumstances, or talent. It is determined by whether you decide today to stop being comfortable, stop settling, and stop listening to the voice that tells you enough is enough. Go beyond. Refuse average. Do not ask for permission. Do not wait for validation. Do not wait for tomorrow. Start now, push harder than yesterday, and make every choice a declaration that you will never, ever settle for less than your full potential. The only way to break free from average is to decide once and for all that average is unacceptable, and to act with relentless focus until your life reflects nothing but extraordinary. Talent alone is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. Potential alone will never separate you from the crowd, and it will never take you beyond average. The harsh truth is that most people who have talent fail because they do not pair it with relentless effort. They wait for motivation to strike, for inspiration to arrive, for conditions to be perfect. And while they wait, life passes them by. Those who go beyond, those who refuse to settle for average, understand that the foundation of every extraordinary life is work. Uncompromising, consistent, and relentless work. It is not the person who wishes, hopes, or dreams the hardest who rises above. It is the person who outworks everyone else day after day when no one is watching, when nobody cares, when the world offers no applause. Relentless work ethic is the muscle that turns potential into reality. It is what takes a seed of talent and grows it into a forest of achievement. You see, talent is fragile. Talent is fleeting. Talent will only take you as far as effort allows it to go. Without work, talent becomes a weight, a burden, a wasted gift. The world is full of talented people who never reach their potential because they mistook ability for action. Ability without execution is like a car without fuel. It may look ready, it may have the parts, it may shine in the light, but it will never move. Relentless work ethic is the fuel. It is what propels ordinary people into the realm of greatness. Those who refuse average understand that effort is not optional. They understand that comfort is a trap, that shortcuts are illusions, and that there is no substitute for putting in the hours, the sweat, the focus, the energy required to rise above the ordinary. They do not work just when it feels convenient. They do not work only when inspiration hits. They do not work for recognition, for applause, for likes or attention. They work because they understand that life rewards those who give more than anyone else, who push harder than anyone else, and who refuse to stop when others quit. Every setback, every obstacle, every moment of doubt is an opportunity to dig deeper, to push further, to sharpen the edges of discipline and fortitude that will carry them past the average masses. Relentless work ethic also means consistency. It is easy to give your best when you are motivated, when conditions are favorable, when your energy is high. That is not work, it is convenience. Real work, the kind that changes your life, happens when you are tired, discouraged, distracted, or facing failure. Real work happens when you are asked to do more than you think you can, when no one is watching and when nobody believes in you. Consistency compounds. Small efforts repeated daily, when compounded over weeks, months, and years, become unstoppable momentum. This is how ordinary people are separated from extraordinary people. His is how the average is left behind. Relentless work ethic is also about sacrifice. To go beyond average, you must be willing to give up what the majority clings to. comfort, entertainment, easy distractions, instant gratification. You must trade temporary pleasure for permanent results. While others sleep, you grind. While others binge, you study. While others complain, you create. The world will not reward your excuses. It will not wait for your mood to improve or your circumstances to change. The only thing that matters is what you do with the time, energy, and abilities you have right now. Every choice to work while others rest is a choice to rise above, to go beyond, to separate yourself from the crowd. The power of relentless work ethic also lies in embracing struggle as fuel. Every early morning, every late night, every moment when your muscles ache, your mind resists, your spirit wants to quit. These are the moments that define you. Most people avoid them. Most people stop when it gets hard. But those who go beyond understand that struggle is not a sign to quit. It is a sign that you are growing, that you are stretching, that you are moving beyond the level of average. Pain, discomfort, fatigue, frustration. These are the indicators that you are on the path of extraordinary work. The signposts that separate the doers from the dreamers. The relentless worker leans into these signs, knowing that every ounce of effort spent now multiplies into power later. Relentless work ethic is also about taking responsibility for your output. It is not enough to put in effort. You must put in effort intelligently, with focus, purpose, and direction. Mindless repetition is not enough. Excellence requires not only action, but deliberate, targeted action. You must plan, prioritize, and execute with intensity. You must identify the areas that will move the needle the most and then pour your energy into those areas relentlessly. This is what separates those who are busy from those who are productive, those who are average from those who are exceptional. Average people work hard in the wrong areas. Extraordinary people work harder, smarter, and more relentlessly in the areas that matter most. The power of relentless work ethic also shapes your character. Every hour you push, every boundary you break, every limit you exceed builds resilience, discipline, and mental toughness. You begin to see yourself differently. You begin to believe in your capacity to endure, to achieve, to rise above. Your identity shifts from someone who is ordinary to someone who is unstoppable. The work itself becomes a teacher. You learn lessons about patience, about perseverance, about refusing to settle. And these lessons, forged in the crucible of effort, cannot be given, borrowed, or bought. They are earned only through relentless action. Finally, relentless work ethic is what transforms dreams into reality. You may have the vision, the goal, the ambition, but without work, dreams remain fantasies. Work turns ideas into skills, skills into results, results into influence, and influence into legacy. The person who refuses to be average understands that greatness is not a gift. It is a product of effort multiplied over time. You do not wait for opportunity. You create it. You do not hope for success. You earn it. And when you look back years from now, you realize that the NCE between yourself and those who remained average was not luck, talent, or circumstance. It was relentless work, a refusal to quit, a refusal to settle, a refusal to allow life to define your limits. So understand this. The power of relentless work ethic is the secret weapon of the extraordinary. It is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the average from the exceptional. Talent will only take you so far. Intelligence will only carry you so much. Only effort, repeated, consistent, intentional, and relentless, transforms potential into achievement, ambition into reality, and ordinary people into legends. If you want to go beyond, if you want to stop being average, you must embrace the grind. You must work harder, longer, smarter, and with more focus than anyone else. You must outwork excuses, outwork distractions, outwork fear. The world will not hand you greatness. You must earn it with blood, sweat, and an unshakable commitment to relentless effort. That is the power of work. That is the power of relentless work ethic. That is how you go beyond and leave average behind. Discomfort is the crucible in which greatness is forged. Pain is not a sign to stop. It is the signal that you are growing, stretching, and moving beyond the limits that once defined you. Most people run from discomfort. Most people avoid pain. They seek comfort, convenience, and ease because they equate suffering with failure and they fear the struggle that comes with growth. But the truth is this: discomfort and pain are not your enemies. They are your most powerful teachers. They are the forces that separate the average from the extraordinary, the ordinary from the unstoppable. If you refuse to embrace them, you will remain stuck in mediocrity. If you run from them, you will never know how far you can truly go. Embracing discomfort begins with a shift in perception. Pain is unavoidable. Suffering is inevitable. Life will test you. Life will push you. Life will challenge you in ways that feel impossible, unfair, and overwhelming. Those who remain average see these tests as obstacles to avoid, as barriers that signal limits they cannot surpass. But those who go beyond understand that these moments are not obstacles. They are opportunities. They are opportunities to stretch your limits, to expand your capacity, to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. Every discomfort, every challenge, every struggle is a chance to rise above what you were yesterday. Pain is also the ultimate leveler. It does not discriminate between the wealthy and the poor, the talented and the untalented, the young and the old. It comes for everyone, and it is how you respond that defines your trajectory. The person who craves comfort will collapse under its weight. The person who embraces pain will rise above it. Pain tests your commitment, your perseverance, and your willingness to sacrifice for your goals. When your muscles burn, when your mind screams to quit, when the world seems stacked against you, that is when the ordinary falters and the extraordinary thrives. This is where character is built, where resilience is forged, and where the foundation of greatness is laid. To embrace discomfort is to step willingly into situations that challenge you, situations that feel unnatural, situations that scare you. Growth never occurs in safe spaces. Comfort zones are prisons disguised as havens. If you want to go beyond, you must step out of them every single day. You must take on tasks that intimidate you, tackle problems that seem insurmountable, and endure criticism, rejection, and failure without retreating. It is in these moments of deliberate discomfort that the mind, body, and spirit expand their capacity. Every ounce of resistance you face, every layer of pain you push through, makes you stronger, sharper, and more prepared for the life you are capable of achieving. Pain also reveals your true priorities. When you push through discomfort, you discover what you are willing to fight for and what you are not. You discover your limits, and then you shatter them. You learn that the struggle you feared is not permanent, but the rewards on the other side of that struggle can last a lifetime. Those who remain average are not unwilling to face pain. They are unwilling to face the pain necessary for extraordinary results. They are unwilling to sacrifice, to endure, to persist when the world offers no guarantees. Going beyond means willingly enduring the temporary suffering of today for the permanent triumphs of tomorrow. Enduring discomfort also teaches patience. Growth does not happen overnight. Strength, skill, and excellence are built through repeated exposure to challenges, through repeated acts of persistence in the face of adversity. Every time you choose to continue when you want to quit, every time you push a little harder when others rest, you are conditioning your mind to thrive in discomfort. You are creating a resilience that cannot be broken by setbacks or obstacles. Discomfort becomes familiar. Pain becomes manageable. And with each step forward, your capacity for greatness grows exponentially. Embracing discomfort requires courage, the kind of courage that cannot be borrowed, cannot be faked, and cannot be bought. It is the courage to face uncertainty, to face fear, to take risks that might fail. It is the courage to do what others are unwilling to do, to go where others will not go, to endure what others refuse to endure. Courage and discomfort are inseparable. You cannot have one without the other. If you want to go beyond average, if you want to leave mediocrity behind, you must learn to love the grind, to thrive in the struggle, to find strength in the moments that feel unbearable. Pain is also a teacher of humility and perspective. It reminds you that nothing is guaranteed, that success is never free, that every achievement requires effort, sacrifice, and endurance. Those who refuse to embrace discomfort often live with entitlement, expecting rewards without struggle, recognition without sacrifice, and success without effort. But those who embrace pain understand the truth. Every victory is purchased with discomfort. Every breakthrough is earned through struggle. Every level of success demands a willingness to endure what others cannot. Pain becomes not a curse, but a credential, proof that you have done what others would not, endured what others could not, and achieved what others said was impossible. Finally, embracing discomfort builds confidence and self-belief. Every time you push through what you thought was impossible, every time you endure pain and keep going, you internalize a truth that cannot be shaken. You are capable. You are strong. You are more resilient, more determined, and more relentless than you ever imagined. This belief fuels further action. It creates momentum. It transforms hesitation into decisiveness, doubt into conviction, and fear into unstoppable courage. The person who refuses average understands that the world will not make it easy, that life will demand more than they are comfortable giving, and that the only way to rise above is to embrace the struggle, endure the pain, and move forward anyway. So here is the reality. The path to going beyond average is paved with discomfort. It is littered with challenges that will test your patience, stamina, and willpower. It will hurt. It will challenge you. It will push you to the edge of what you think you can endure. But that is exactly where greatness is born. That is exactly where the ordinary falls away, leaving only the extraordinary. Embrace the struggle. Welcome the pain. Step willingly into discomfort. Let it sharpen you, strengthen you, and define you. The world will not wait for you to be comfortable. The life you desire will not be handed to you in ease. If you want to go beyond, if you want to stop being average, you must face discomfort, endure pain, and refuse to let either break you. The higher you climb, the steeper the path. The greater the struggle, the greater the reward. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your ladder. Pain is not your barrier. It is your bridge. Step onto it and rise above the ordinary once and for all. Your mindset is the battlefield where your potential is won or lost. It is the invisible force that determines whether you will rise above average or remain trapped in mediocrity. Most people underestimate the power of the mind. They look at circumstances, talent, resources, or luck, and they believe these are what define limits. But the truth is far more brutal, far more liberating. Your limits exist only in your mind. If you think small, you will achieve small. If you think average, you will remain average. If you allow fear, doubt, and hesitation to dominate your thoughts, they will dominate your life. Mindset is not just a part of success. It is the foundation of every extraordinary achievement. Everything you accomplish, everything you fail to accomplish, begins with the lens through which you see the world, through which you see yourself, and through which you decide what is possible. Most people live in self-imposed prisons. They define their abilities by past failures, by the expectations of others, by the stories they have been told about who they are and what they can achieve. They let limits seep into their beliefs quietly, slowly, subtly, until they wake up one day realizing that they have become ordinary, average, and complacent. This is the quiet killer of potential. A mind that has accepted restrictions as reality. But here is the truth. Limits are not written into your DNA, into your circumstances, into the world itself. Limits exist only because you believe they exist. They are the illusions that form when you allow fear, doubt, and comfort to dictate the boundaries of your life. To go beyond average, you must first dismantle the limits in your mind. You must recognize that the only real restrictions are the ones you have accepted. Mindset determines not just how far you can go, but how you respond to the inevitable obstacles and failures that come your way. Two people can face the exact same situation. One sees a mountain, one sees a stepping stone. One sees failure, one sees feedback. One folds under pressure, one thrives under it. Why? Because mindset shapes perception. It tells you what is possible and what is not. It controls the narrative you tell yourself about who you are, what you deserve, and how far you can push. If you train your mind to think small, your actions will reflect that and your life will remain contained. If you train your mind to think big, to see opportunity in adversity, to see lessons in pain, you open doors that others cannot even imagine exist. Your mindset is your internal compass, and it will guide you either toward mediocrity or toward greatness. Developing a mindset that allows you to go beyond average requires ruthless self-awareness. You must examine the beliefs you hold about yourself, your abilities, and your potential. Many of these beliefs are borrowed, taught by parents, reinforced by society, whispered by peers, or imposed by past failures. They are not necessarily true, but they are powerful because you have accepted them. To rise above, you must question every limiting belief. You must ask yourself, why do I believe this? Who told me this was my limit? What evidence exists that proves I am capable of more? You must interrogate the stories you tell yourself and replace them with stories of possibility, resilience, and growth. The mind is malleable, and the person who trains it to see beyond limits trains themselves to achieve beyond what most dare to imagine. Your mindset also shapes your goals and your expectations. Those who remain average often set goals that are safe, achievable, and modest because they see themselves through the lens of limitation. They aim low to avoid disappointment, to avoid risk, and to avoid the discomfort that comes with chasing extraordinary results. But the person who refuses average sets audacious goals, dreams of impossible heights, and believes in the capacity to reach them. This is not arrogance. It is disciplined belief. It is understanding that if the mind cannot imagine it, the body cannot execute it. Your vision of yourself in the mind precedes your ability to create it in reality. To break past average, you must first expand the boundaries of your imagination and refuse to let your current circumstances dictate what is possible. Mindset also controls your response to failure. Average people see failure as a stop sign, a signal that their limits have been reached. Those who go beyond see failure as a teacher, as a guide, as evidence that they are pushing beyond previous boundaries. Mindset determines whether failure breaks you or fuels you. It determines whether obstacles are walls or stepping stones. If your mind is fixed, rigid, and fearful, every challenge becomes insurmountable. If your mind is flexible, resilient, and hungry for growth, every challenge becomes an opportunity to rise higher, to learn faster, and to push beyond what you thought possible. The only true failure is the failure to adjust your mindset, to let your beliefs imprison you while the world passes you by. A powerful mindset also requires ownership and accountability. It is not enough to tell yourself, I can do it, while blaming circumstances, luck, or other people for your lack of progress. Extraordinary results demand a mindset that takes full responsibility for outcomes. It says, I will find a way no matter what. I will adapt, endure, and overcome because my limits are not determined by life. They are determined by me. This mindset refuses excuses. It refuses comfort. It refuses to settle. It is relentless, persistent, and uncompromising. It understands that to break free from average, you must first break free from the mental chains that tell you what you cannot do, what you should not do, and what is impossible. Your mindset is also built through action. Belief alone is not enough. Thinking big, imagining success, and visualizing possibilities are important, but without action, they are useless. Mindset must be reinforced through repeated challenges, deliberate practice, and consistent effort. Every time you act in spite of fear, doubt, or discomfort, you prove to yourself that your limits are not fixed. Every time you push past a perceived boundary, you expand what is possible for the next challenge. The extraordinary life is built by those who continuously act on the belief that their potential is limitless. The mind leads, the body follows, and action cements what you once only imagined. Finally, mindset shapes your identity. The person who refuses average sees themselves not as someone limited by circumstance, but as someone capable of transcending it. They think in terms of growth, resilience, and possibility. They train themselves to see opportunity in adversity, lessons in pain, and power in perseverance. Mindset becomes the lens through which life is filtered. It becomes the engine that drives daily choices, the fire that fuels relentless action, and the compass that keeps you moving forward when everything else threatens to distract, discourage, or derail you. So understand this. Your limits exist only because your mind believes they exist. To go beyond average, to refuse mediocrity, to achieve extraordinary results, you must master your mindset. You must challenge the beliefs that hold you back. Embrace the discomfort that stretches you. Take ownership of your life and act relentlessly in alignment with your vision of possibility. The boundaries you see are not real. They are constructs of thought. Change your mind, change your life, expand what you believe is possible, and the world will have no choice but to bend to your effort. Your limits are yours to redefine, and once your mind is free, nothing can stop you from going beyond average. Sacrifice is the currency of greatness. It is the toll you pay today for the life you desire tomorrow. Most people want results without paying the price. They want success without struggle, recognition without effort, freedom without discipline. That is why the majority remain average. The truth is, life will never hand you what you want on a silver platter. Comfort will not create champions. Entertainment will not produce excellence. Instant gratification will not lead to legacy. If you want to rise above, if you want to go beyond average, you must learn to give up the things that keep you comfortable, the things that numb your potential, and the things that make mediocrity feel safe. Sacrifice is not optional for those who refuse average. It is mandatory. Sacrifice begins with vision. You cannot give up something unless you know what you are moving toward. If your goals are vague, your dreams unclear, your purpose undefined, then sacrifice will feel like punishment. But if you have a clear vision of the life you want, if you know what success looks like, if you see the person you are capable of becoming, then sacrifice becomes fuel. Every discomfort endured, every pleasure delayed, every convenience ignored becomes a step toward that vision. To go beyond average, you must see clearly enough to know what is worth giving up today to gain something far greater tomorrow. The stronger your vision, the easier it becomes to endure the hardships required to achieve it. Most people fail because they are unwilling to delay gratification. They want it all now. They want money now. They want recognition now. They want validation now. They want comfort now. And when the world does not deliver on these demands, they quit. They settle. They accept average. But those who go beyond understand that instant pleasure is the enemy of long-term success. They understand that the moments you resist, the distractions you ignore, and the temptations you overcome are what compound into power, wealth, discipline, and mastery. Every choice to sacrifice today, every hour spent studying, training, working, improving, becomes a deposit in the bank of your future. The key is to focus on tomorrow's returns instead of today's comfort. Sacrifice is also about priorities. Most people try to have it all at once. They want to work and play equally. They want to chase dreams while indulging in distractions. They want comfort and growth simultaneously. That is impossible. You cannot be exceptional while seeking comfort. You cannot rise above average while holding on to mediocrity. To go beyond, you must prioritize relentlessly. You must ask yourself, what is essential to my future? What can I afford to let go of? What habits, relationships, distractions, and indulgences are holding me back? Every sacrifice is a choice, and every choice shapes the trajectory of your life. Those who refuse average make these choices deliberately, strategically, and consistently. Sacrifice is not easy. It is not glamorous. It is uncomfortable. It is lonely. When you give up what the world clings to, you often stand alone. Friends may not understand your choices. Family may question your priorities. Society may judge you for denying yourself what is considered normal. But this is the cost of going beyond. Ordinary people want comfort, ease, and social approval. Extraordinary people are willing to endure judgment, isolation, and criticism to pursue what others cannot imagine. They understand that the approval of the crowd is never as valuable as the results that come from sacrifice. To rise above average, you must be willing to pay the price without expectation of recognition or applause. Sacrifice is also a test of discipline. It is easy to commit to action when the excitement is high, when motivation is strong, when energy is abundant. Real sacrifice is committing when motivation is gone, when fatigue sets in, when obstacles appear. Real sacrifice is doing what needs to be done, even when it is painful, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. Every choice to persist in these moments strengthens your character. Every decision to endure reinforces your identity as someone who refuses to settle. This is why those who embrace sacrifice consistently rise above the ordinary. They train themselves to endure, to persist, and to act even when the world tempts them to quit. Sacrifice is not temporary. It becomes part of who you are. Sacrifice is also about opportunity cost. Every hour you waste, every distraction you indulge, every pleasure you chase has a cost. Time is the only resource you can never get back. And the way you spend it defines whether you remain average or go beyond. To rise above, you must make choices that honor your future self. You must prioritize growth over entertainment, learning over leisure, discipline over indulgence. Every sacrifice you make is an investment in your potential, a step toward the life you want, and a refusal to remain trapped by mediocrity. Those who go beyond understand this principle instinctively. They measure every action, every habit, every relationship by the value it adds to their future. Sacrifice also teaches resilience and grit. The more you are willing to give up, the stronger you become. Every hardship endured, every pleasure denied, every temptation resisted strengthens your mental toughness. Ordinary people crumble at the first sign of adversity because they have never trained themselves to sacrifice. Extraordinary people thrive under pressure because sacrifice is their foundation. They know that pain, discomfort, and loss are temporary, but the rewards of consistent sacrifice are permanent. Every sacrifice builds momentum. Every sacrifice compounds. And over time, what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Finally, sacrifice is the bridge between who you are and who you are capable of becoming. You cannot remain average if you refuse to give up the things that hold you back. You cannot go beyond if you cling to comfort. The life you dream of, the results you desire, the person you are meant to be. E requires payment in the form of sacrifice. It is not easy, it is not convenient, and it is not immediate, but it is effective. Every choice to endure, every hour spent grinding, every moment of discomfort accepted brings you closer to a future where average is no longer an option. Sacrifice is not a punishment. It is the tool of champions. It is the ladder that allows you to rise above, the lever that moves the world in your favor, the test that proves whether you are willing to do what others will not. To go beyond average, you must master the art of sacrifice. You must see it not as loss, but as investment. You must endure what others avoid, delay gratification when others indulge, and prioritize what truly matters over what feels comfortable. The life you desire will not come to you by chance. It will come to those who are willing to pay the price, who are willing to give up temporary pleasure for permanent gain, who are willing to sacrifice today to ensure tomorrow is extraordinary. The choice is yours. Comfort is easy. Mediocrity is safe. Sacrifice is hard. Greatness is earned through the decisions you make when no one is watching. Refuse to settle. Sacrifice today. Build tomorrow. Go beyond. Stop being average. You are the company you keep. That statement is not just a cliche. It is a fundamental truth that determines whether you remain average or rise above. Your environment, your relationships, and the people you spend the most time with will shape your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your results. Most people fail to understand this. They think talent, luck, or effort alone will take them beyond average. But the harsh reality is that even the most talented individual will struggle if surrounded by mediocrity. Average people hang around average people. They share excuses, fears, complaints, and limitations. And in doing so, they reinforce their own stagnation. To go beyond, to refuse average, you must be deliberate about the people you allow into your inner circle. Surrounding yourself with excellence is not optional, it is essential. Excellence is contagious. When you are around people who challenge you, inspire you, and demand more from you, you cannot help but raise your standards. Their energy pushes you to work harder. Their habits push you to do better. Their vision pushes you to see farther. Ordinary people fear association with those who are exceptional because it makes them feel inadequate, small, or uncomfortable. But growth never happens in comfort. Surrounding yourself with excellence forces you to stretch, to elevate, and to align your behavior with the standards of the extraordinary. You do not rise by dragging others down. You rise by climbing with those who are already at a higher level, learning from them, absorbing their mindset, and pushing yourself to match their intensity. Most people underestimate how much influence the wrong people can have on their lives. Toxicity, negativity, laziness, and mediocrity are like slow poison. They creep into your mind, dilute your ambitions, and normalize excuses. A single person who complains, doubts, or undermines can derail your progress more than you realize. Every "I can't," "it's too hard," or "you'll never make it" you hear repeatedly becomes a seed planted in your mind. If left unchecked, it grows into self-doubt, fear, and acceptance of mediocrity. Surrounding yourself with excellence acts as a shield against this poison. It exposes you to higher standards, greater possibilities, and relentless ambition, reinforcing the mindset necessary to rise above average. Excellence is not just about skills or accomplishments. It is about attitude, work ethic, and discipline. It is about being around people who show up even when they don't feel like it, who grind when no one is watching, who take accountability for their actions, and who refuse to settle. These are the people who set the tone for your own effort and mindset. Average people mimic laziness. Extraordinary people mimic discipline. You do not have to compete with them. You simply have to align yourself with their energy. Being in proximity to excellence makes excuses harder to justify, distractions harder to indulge, and complacency impossible to maintain. It is an environment that breeds growth, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. Surrounding yourself with excellence also sharpens your ambition. Average people are satisfied with mediocrity. They normalize it, rationalize it, and defend it. Extraordinary people are not satisfied. They are relentless in their pursuit of improvement, never settling for less than their potential. When you spend time with those who refuse average, you begin to see what is possible for yourself. You begin to understand that your current limitations are not fixed, that your potential is far greater than you believe, and that the world is not waiting to hand you success. It must be earned. Excellence challenges you to raise your goals, to aim higher, and to push past boundaries that once felt insurmountable. Excellence also provides accountability. Where you surround yourself with people who are performing at a high level, you cannot hide behind excuses. They will notice when you are slacking, when you are cutting corners, or when you are falling short. They will challenge you to step up. They will push you to honor your commitments, maintain your discipline, and act consistently toward your goals. This accountability is critical because growth requires action, and action requires consistency. You cannot rise alone. You must be pushed, challenged, and held to a standard higher than the one you currently maintain. Surrounding yourself with excellence ensures that standard is never lowered. Your network becomes your net worth, not in a financial sense alone, but in the richness of influence, ideas, and opportunities. When you are surrounded by people of excellence, you are exposed to perspectives, strategies, and wisdom you would never encounter alone. You see how they think, how they approach challenges, how they manage setbacks, and how they maintain focus and discipline. You absorb lessons through observation, conversation, and collaboration. This exposure accelerates your growth, expands your vision, and fuels the mindset necessary to go beyond average. Mediocre company teaches complacency. Exceptional company teaches mastery. But surrounding yourself with excellence requires courage and discipline. It requires letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth, even if they are comfortable, familiar, or emotionally convenient. It requires rejecting social norms that encourage stagnation, conformity, or excuses. It requires stepping into spaces that may feel intimidating because the people there demand more than you are currently giving. This is not easy. It is uncomfortable. It challenges your sense of belonging. But growth never happens in ease. Growth never happens in comfort. Those willing to endure this discomfort and deliberately choose the company of excellence are the ones who separate themselves from the crowd, who leave average behind, and who go beyond what they once believed possible. Surrounding yourself with excellence also means being selective about influence beyond personal relationships. The media you consume, the mentors you follow, the communities you participate in, and even the content you allow into your mind shape your thinking. Average people fill their minds with negativity, gossip, entertainment, and shallow distractions. Extraordinary people feed their minds with ideas, inspiration, strategy, and discipline. To go beyond, you must curate your mental and social environment as deliberately as your physical actions. Excellence is not just a person, it is a standard, a vibration, and a constant reminder of what is possible. You must immerse yourself in it daily to internalize it. Finally, surrounding yourself with excellence changes your identity. You begin to think differently, act differently, and demand more from yourself because that is the standard to which you are exposed. Your habits improve, your mindset shifts, your focus sharpens. You start to see yourself not as average, not as someone constrained by limits, but as someone capable of extraordinary achievement. Excellence becomes the air you breathe, the measure against which you hold yourself, and the fuel for your relentless pursuit of more. Ordinary people may scoff, resist, or question why our associations, but those who rise above understand that who you spend time with defines who you become. To go beyond average, you must be intentional about your circle. You must reject mediocrity, cut ties with distraction, and gravitate toward the people, environments, and influences that elevate you. Surround yourself with excellence in every area of your life. Friends, mentors, co-workers, communities, and even the information you absorb. Make it impossible to be average by ensuring that your standards are constantly challenged and that you are pushed to act, improve, and grow. Excellence is not optional. It is contagious, and it is your ladder out of mediocrity. Align yourself with it, and there is no limit to how far you can rise. Inspiration is powerful, but it is fleeting. Motivation can light a fire in your chest, make you feel unstoppable for a moment, and fill your mind with dreams of greatness. But inspiration alone does not build empires, achieve goals, or separate the extraordinary from the average. Too many people wait for motivation, for the perfect moment, for the sign that tells them it's time to act. They wait for inspiration to hit. And while they wait, life passes them by. To go beyond average, to refuse mediocrity, you must learn the brutal truth. Action is what counts. Not ideas, not dreams, not potential, action. Without consistent, deliberate, and relentless action, inspiration is nothing more than hot air, an illusion that comforts without producing results. Action over inspiration means refusing to wait. Waiting is the playground of the average. Waiting is what keeps dreams deferred, potential untapped, and ambition unfulfilled. Every minute spent waiting is a minute wasted. Every hour spent hoping for a sign is an hour lost. And every day spent putting off execution is a day surrendered to mediocrity. Those who go beyond understand that the moment is now. Waiting for inspiration is a trap because inspiration is unreliable. It comes and goes. The difference between average and extraordinary is not who feels inspired, but who acts regardless of how they feel. You do not need to feel ready. You need to move. You do not need perfect conditions. You need a decision. Action trumps inspiration every single time because action produces momentum, results, and learning. Action over inspiration is also about consistency. Many people act when the energy is high, when motivation strikes, when they are excited. That is not enough. Ordinary people act sporadically, inconsistently, and only when circumstances are convenient. Extraordinary people act relentlessly, daily, even when it hurts, even when it is inconvenient, even when they feel doubt. The action itself becomes the teacher, the builder of discipline, and the path to mastery. Momentum is created not by bursts of effort inspired by fleeting feelings, but by continuous, purposeful action taken without regard for mood, emotion, or comfort. The world does not reward good intentions. It rewards consistent execution. Action also turns ideas into reality. Inspiration gives you a vision, but vision without action is hallucination. You can dream, imagine, and talk about success until your lungs give out. But until you act, you are living in a fantasy. Every great achievement in history was the product of action. Small, deliberate, sometimes painful, repeated action. Ordinary people wait for perfect conditions, for guidance, for guarantees. Extraordinary people create conditions through action. They experiment, iterate, fail, learn, and keep moving forward. Execution is what separates the talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the achievers, and the average from the extraordinary. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Action over inspiration is also about courage. It takes courage to move when you feel afraid, unsure, or unprepared. It takes courage to take the first step when no one else believes in you. Waiting for inspiration is a form of avoidance. It is a way to justify inaction, to avoid risk, to hide from discomfort. Those who refuse average understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Every step you take, every decision to move forward, even when you feel doubt, builds confidence, resilience, and momentum. Courageous action compounds. Small steps taken consistently in the face of fear eventually lead to massive transformation. Action also teaches accountability. You cannot hide behind ideas or inspiration. When you act, you see results. When you act, you encounter failure, resistance, and setbacks. You are forced to confront your weaknesses, refine your approach, and take responsibility for your outcomes. Inspiration may make you feel good, but it does not reveal whether you are capable. Action is the test. It is the proof of your commitment, the measurement of your discipline, and the evidence of your potential. Ordinary people fear action because it exposes their limits. Extraordinary people embrace it because it reveals how to expand them. Action over inspirer. Xi'an also requires prioritization. There are countless things you could do at any moment. Ideas, opportunities, and distractions constantly compete for your attention. The person who goes beyond average does not act on every impulse. They act on the actions that move them closer to their vision. This is deliberate execution. It is focus. It is understanding that action is most powerful when it is purposeful, intentional, and aligned with your long-term goals. Random action, impulsive bursts, and unfocused energy produce chaos, not results. Those who rise above average learn to harness their energy, direct it strategically, and act consistently in the areas that matter most. Action over inspiration is also about momentum. The first step is often the hardest. Starting is the point where most people fail. But once you act, once you commit, momentum builds. Progress generates motivation, not the other way around. Inspiration may get your attention, but action sustains it. One completed task leads to another. One risk taken teaches you lessons that fuel your next move. Momentum is unstoppable once it is created, and it is only built through deliberate, relentless action. Those who go beyond average understand this truth intuitively. Movement creates energy. Energy creates confidence, and confidence produces results. Action also teaches resilience. When you act, you fail, you stumble, you face setbacks, and you confront reality. Inspiration does not teach this. It comforts. Only action exposes you to the trials necessary for growth. Every failure, every obstacle, every correction strengthens your ability to persevere. Ordinary people give up at the first sign of resistance because they have not built the muscle of execution. Extraordinary people use failure as fuel, setbacks as lessons, and criticism as guidance. They act, they adjust, and they act again, building unstoppable resilience along the way. Finally, action over inspiration changes your identity. When you act consistently, you become someone who gets things done. You stop thinking of yourself as a dreamer or a thinker, and you begin to see yourself as a doer. Your confidence grows, your skills improve, and your momentum compounds. You start to internalize the truth that nothing can stop you except inaction. The more you act, the less inspiration matters, because action itself becomes your engine, your fire, and your proof that you are capable of going beyond. Inspiration is temporary. Action is permanent. Ideas fade, feelings pass, and motivation disappears. But action leaves results, habits, and transformation that endure. To go beyond average, you must embrace action over inspiration. You must stop waiting for perfect conditions, fleeting feelings, or magical moments. You must stop hoping for motivation to arrive and start doing, even when it is hard, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. You must act relentlessly, deliberately, consistently, and courageously. Your results, your confidence, and your transformation depend on it. Action is the separator, the multiplier, and the accelerator. It is the difference between talk and achievement, between dreams and reality, between average and extraordinary. If you want to go beyond, you must move now. No excuses, no delays. Action over inspiration is the law of the extraordinary. Those who obey it rise. Those who do not remain average. Right now, this very moment, you are standing at a crossroads. On one path lies comfort, mediocrity, and the quiet life of someone who never tests their limits. On the other path lies struggle, sacrifice, growth, and the life you've always dreamed of. But it demands everything from you. Every decision you make from this moment forward will determine whether you remain average or rise above. You can no longer wait for the perfect moment. You can no longer rely on fleeting motivation or empty inspiration. If you truly want to go beyond, you must commit fully, relentlessly, and without compromise. You must destroy the chains of mediocrity that have been holding you back. You must embrace discomfort, confront pain, and push yourself past the limits your mind has been telling you exist. Going beyond average is not easy. It is not convenient. It will test you mentally, physically, and emotionally. But if you are willing to endure what others will not, if you are willing to sacrifice what others cling to, if you are willing to surround yourself with excellence and act when inspiration fades, then there is nothing in this world that can stop you. The life you desire, the success you crave, the impact you are capable of making, every one of these is waiting for you on the other side of your decision. It will not be given. It will not be easy, but it is possible. And it is yours if you are willing to pay the price. Your mindset will define your limits. Your willingness to embrace discomfort will build your resilience. Your daily sacrifices will compound into extraordinary results. The company you keep will elevate you, sharpen you, and hold you accountable to the highest standards. And action, relentless, deliberate, consistent action will transform your vision into reality. All 7 keys you've learned today are not theories. They are weapons. They are strategies to obliterate mediocrity. They are tools to break through barriers, crush excuses, and forge a version of yourself that refuses to settle. Average is a choice. Beyond is a decision. So I ask you this: will you stay where you are, waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect moment, hoping that life somehow bends in your favor? Or will you take control, step into the fire, and become the person you were meant to be? The time to act is now. not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels easier. Right now, your greatness will not wait for you, and neither will opportunity. Every second you delay, every moment you hesitate is a second and moment stolen from your future. The people who rise above do not wait for permission. They do not make excuses. They do not complain. They take what they want, endure what others refuse, and outwork everyone in the room. You can be that person. You can go beyond. You can refuse average. You can create a life so extraordinary that the world stops and takes notice. But it starts with one decision, one commitment, one relentless step forward today. No hesitation, no excuses, no compromise. Go beyond, stop being average, and claim the life that is waiting for you. The fire is in you. Ignite it and let nothing, no one, and no circumstance stand in your way.